Hey guys, my name is Alyssa Sokolowski, and this is my rebuttal to Catherine Helm's debate on U.S. intelligence having a negative effect on U.S. foreign policy overall. Um, I would like to start off by saying that I think it's a little harsh to say that we need an intelligence apparatus because we created this disastrous world based on all of our U.S. foreign policies, in which the U.S. has to have an intelligence apparatus in order to protect itself from the chaos that we've created in the outside world. Um, Intelligence has kind of been a thing well before the U.S. was a superpower. Um, the British had an intelligence apparatus at least as early as the 1800s. The Germans, I know, had something prior to World War One when we weren't really a superpower of any nature. Um, with that being said, intelligence isn't merely a U.S. thing. It is an it's a world thing. It's a global thing. Every nation, in some form or fashion, has an intelligence community or intelligence apparatus, and it's not just us, the U.S., that is spying on people. Everyone is spying on everyone. Allies are spying on allies. I think that's part of the problem with the leak that came out, is that it was found out that we were spying on our allies, but to some degree, they were spying on us as well. Um, I think much of what the problem with the intelligence community is to some degree, it has a very secretive nature. So the public in general doesn't really find out about their successes as much as they do their failures. Um, Failures are clearly broadcast. Anyone can sit here and give you a handful of times the U.S. intelligence community has, quote unquote, failed the U.S. in our foreign policy. Um, we tend to focus a little on those successes. There were some. Some would deem uh, the documentation of missiles in Cuba, the Russian missiles in Cuba, as an intelligence success. There was the intelligence community finding out that the Cubans were in Angola based on baseball fields. I think someone said that you can tell where the Russians would go because soccer fields would follow. Where the Cubans went, baseball was sure to come with them. Um, Also, we like to focus on their failures on 9/11, but the U.S. intelligence community did, however, to some degree help stop prior terrorist attacks to that. Now, I won't disagree that the intelligence community is a little bit unmanageable. It is a bureaucracy, and that bureaucracy, as it has been stated, did kind of prevent intelligence from stopping the terrorist attacks. But then also boils down to there was intelligence out there, just non-news intelligence, that there were these terrorist cells within the United States. And then a lot of it has to do with bureaucratic tape, which I don't disagree. It is a problem. And a lot of that is compounded by the fact that we tend to try to reform, but in essence just add more layers of bureaucracy to it, which just creates more issues. Um, Polarization and politicization, I won't disagree that that isn't a thing. It does exist. I think also a lot of that boils down to human nature, though, and the intelligence apparatus, for the most part, isn't one person. It's basically a community. When you are talking about politicization from the bottom up, is trying to please one person. Um, and to some degree, everyone wants to have intelligence, or everyone to agree with their own policies. I think a lot of the problem with the intelligence, to some degree, comes with the overexertion of presidential power, the ability to cherry pick information, the ability to politicize things, the ability to get rid of people when you don't agree with what they're trying to tell you doesn't agree with what you want to hear. I think a lot of that doesn't necessarily boil down to intelligence failures on its own. I think it boils down to human nature and overexertion of presidential power as a unit. And then if we want to focus on Bush again, the war on Iraq, the war on terror, wasn't a failure of intelligence on the intelligence community. The information was out there, the intelligence was out there, that there were no weapons of mass destruction. It was mainly Bush trying to push a war that he already had in his mind to do. So it's a little harsh to say that the intelligence community failed on that note, when in reality the intelligence community was saying the war on Iraq was a bad idea from the beginning, and our president just chose not to listen to it. I can't sit here and say that the intelligence community has had the greatest effects on U.S. foreign policy, but I think to some degree we can't see the effects it has because of the nature of intelligence itself. It is a little bit secretive, and I guess every success can't be blasted out there for public knowledge. But there are some examples of successes of U.S. or of intelligence in U.S. foreign policy. So I think it's a little harsh to say that overall it has a negative effect when we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Well, I want to thank you guys. I'm sorry it's a long one. I do apologize, but I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, day, wherever it is. And see you next time.